G'day everyone. It's just a few people in here. Can you let me know you can hear me just fine? I would appreciate that. And then once that's confirmed, I'll get started. You can hear me? Why is my stream so far behind? I appreciate that. Alrighty, I'm just going to get started because this is going to go for as many hours as we want. To those that are here, how many are here? There's only 8 people. That's fine. Today's live stream on the channel is going to be a bit different. Thank you, Cal. I decided with my advanced trading students over at Imperial Wealth Crypto that I was going to do a bit of an educational live stream now that our course has been extensively updated with new education, new theory. And I wanted to start not only putting the foot on the gas a bit myself, which I've spoken with my clients out about my trading, as we edge towards more of a time where I think trading is going to be a fair bit more interesting for crypto when liquidity comes back towards the end of this year. But more importantly, I just wanted to we have a private Discord over at the Advanced Trading course where not only do you have a course, obviously, that you have for life and me as your trading mentor, teacher and educator, but you also have a private Discord, which we have setup channels where I, more often than not, provide trade setups, examples, showing education of swing value patterns, fibs, whatever it may be, Elliott wave counts, harmonics. So not only are my students got the course and they're actively learning, obviously, the education and theory, but they're able to see it day by day applied to the financial markets, namely, obviously, crypto is what we focus on over at Imperial Wealth. But today I'm going to be willing to go through any Forex, any stocks, any crypto. I did put together a very, very big list. So, like TAO, BTCF, the ASX, the US 10-year yield, ZEC, Link. We've got Riots, we've got Stark, ENA, USDTD, Fartcoin, XRP. We've got Circle the stock. We've got the VIX for volatility, so on and so forth. So I'm going to kind of go through randomly all of these tickers and show how you can actually apply technical analysis and the education and theory you've learned to pretty much any financial market you like, from a high time frame down to a low time frame, in order to ascertain different setups and trading ideas that you can then obviously execute once you have your certain triggers. But most importantly for my clients, I'll be setting alerts and obviously taking these setups into account when providing with those examples, and then providing you with the setups in the private premium Discord when they hit, when they're being executed, when they're triggered, if I enter them, so on and so forth. So it should be a pretty good exercise. And without further ado, let's get started. Now, there are 11 people randomly in here. I probably expected 1 to 2. Does anyone want me to start on any given ticker of theirs? I'm just going to start it like that. If not, we'll just get straight into it and go through as many of these tickers as we can, starting nice and fresh. But I'll see if there's anyone out there in the comments that is watching keenly that would like me to do a ticker of their choice before I get started, and then we'll just be plowing through them. Made myself a black coffee to get through this. ZEC. Alrighty, we got the first one, ZEC. Beautiful, Taylor. Thank you for that. Right, let's start off with ZEC. On a regular. We'll get on a log stream. But what I want to actually do with ZEC, let's actually get the older chart up. Because what many don't know is they trade ZEC. And the funny thing about ZEC is that, g'day, the Frost 5. Is that people think this is just ZEC, or like here to here is ZEC, because they use like a Binance chart or like a Bybit chart, and it's probably only been like launched here or something. But if you actually go on the crypto chart of Zcash, you got a lot more to go off historically that we can begin to look at as well. I don't know what. I need to probably look back at what happened at the start of Zcash, but I think we're just going to use this as our all-time highs. on the weekly, and we'll actually go to the monthly first. Let's actually go to the yearly. Fuck it. Sorry, I shouldn't use that language. Pretty funny yearly chart. Alrighty, this is gonna. I'm gonna leave this all time high. 2018. How are you all going out there? Anyway, where's Will? Geez, SV, you're not a happy person. I am quite punctual. Sorry, I had a issue with my OBS. Hope you don't mind. Sorry about that. You can feel free to watch the replay, mate. You don't have to be here. And unfortunately, Will is not here. Will is not the head analyst. He's not the head chartist. I can get Will in here if you would like. Sorry about that. So let's actually start off with assessing this for what it is and claiming this is the all-time high. I'm going to draw a fib first from this yearly high. I don't like that weird wick. What is that? Round of zero. Okay, no worries. See you later, buddy. Thanks for coming. Alrighty, so distinctively on a yearly high basis, we actually have, we wicked perfectly into the 786. Yeah, it's not necessary. As I posted in the Discord and all the various channels, this isn't a necessary live stream. This is more just for anyone who wants to educate themselves on how to chart crypto charts or any financial asset. So no, you don't have to hang around. Mr. Law, Mr. Zek. Let's actually get this a bit more accurate. Yeah, it is. Alrighty. I also mark out some monthly highs. So what I like to do, as everyone knows, and as my students know, is I work from the yearly down and we mark out any major highs, right? Particularly any unswept highs or any unswept lows. So what am I doing very, very first and foremost? I'm going through, I marked out the all-time high. I marked out, let's just call this the bear market low. What I'm actually going to do is, because this chart will be a bit more accurate. Yeah, see how it doesn't have any of that prior price action? And we're going to do this. I'm going to put that at 900 as if it exists on this chart. All-time high 2018. If you want to figure out how to do exact coordinates, by the way, that's where you go, so you don't have to try and then I'm going to drag a fake fib from here down to here, and we perfectly wicked into 786, and we can just look at it like that. I want to be on the Bybit chart. I don't want to be on the weird crypto one that's not a bit more accurate for perpetual futures trading. So what I'm doing now is I'm going through and I'm marking out all the monthly lows and all the monthly highs. Let's see if we can find a few setups here. Alrighty. Got an unswept monthly candle low. Bear market low. Cycle high. May 26th monthly candle high. We're gonna go and get a fib from low to high as well. It's the battle of the 786s, hey? Right, let's see. This is a pretty important low as well. Just gonna come along. Alrighty. July monthly candle low. June monthly candle low. Jeez, is that really? Right on the 1st of July, that push on Zek. Super interesting. Okay. No, it wasn't. Monthly candle high. I'm actually going to make this a bit smaller. Alrighty. Let's get all our settings right first, and then we can proceed further. Make this one a bit more noticeable. Alrighty, I'm going to closely align these. Actually, then we're going to go back to the weekly. Most of the weekly ones are the monthly ones. That's fine. Except for that one. Alrighty, now it's about finding, for liquidity purposes, and I'm going to go through this and do this on every chart, the confluences of fibs, volume profiles, Elliott wave counts, so on and so forth. And finding these in confluence with different areas of monthly candle lows and highs is preferably how I like to swing trade. Now, why is this? For liquidity purposes, right? We know that namely in crypto or in any version of financial markets is that price gravitates towards pockets of what I call liquidity, because that is really an easy way to how you can kind of gauge out support and resistance and then demand and supply, right? So what have I marked out here? And I'm not going to go into this much detail, obviously, every chart we do. I'm just going to fly through it. But obviously towards the start on the first view, I wanted to explain to people what I'm actually doing, what I'm actually looking for, and how to ascertain, and going from that high time frame down to that low time frame, and being able to find different ideas that you can set alerts for, which I'll show you how to do. And then obviously when they trigger, execute and actually trade these for profits, right? And so plainly looking at the chart, we have a number of, an all-time high, a cycle high, and then a number of monthly and weekly unswept candles. There'd obviously be a lot of daily ones, but I like to work from high time frame down to the daily, and then we can look to low time frame. So what I like to do for support and resistance, namely, is I like to use boxes, kind of like these support zones, right? Where particularly on areas of confluence, and that's in both directions. So let's actually take a look at a volume profile here from our bear market low to our cycle high. Value area low comes in. All right, that is a very big area. It's not too much on volume, to be honest, that I'm liking confluence wise. You begin to see it kind of here when privacy edged up in. It's probably the most important place to look. It actually became a coin again somewhat. So I'm going to use this. For those that don't know, what I like to do with my POCs and my value area lows and value area highs is actually map them out as such. So I actually even do this. Major POC, and I usually do mark it out because we're wedged in between two titles there. I usually might put it on the bottom here, but it's just going to overlap, so I'm not going to make it. I'm a bit, what do you call it, antsy at how my things look, right? So we've got the first major area that I would look to on the downside, right? And where is that area? It is the major 786 retracement from our cycle low to our cycle high. Now, if you notice that, where does that come in through? It comes in at the February crash. I'm actually 6 monthly crash low. Very important low that we made across all financial markets, right? Namely crypto in particular. And we have a 786 that aligns with a monthly candle. And just above that, we have pretty much the entirety of the cycle's major point of control, which is the most volume traded on this entire chart, comes in at the 230 or so level. When we had that black swan on ZEC, we actually crashed from as high as 640 in 2 days to as low as made that June monthly candle low. For a reversion of liquidity purposes, right? Like think about how much liquidity is in this one candle all the way up to here, or at least from here down to here. That's a number of orders in the market that people longed at, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So there's going to be a ton of people, right, that are probably on low leverage and they're swing long on ZEC. They luckily caught it here. Even if they caught it here, and where would you logically put your stop loss, right? This is the type of thing you have to have. You would put it here. So if market makers, large traders or whatever, and let's just say we crabbed out for the next few months, we lost the June monthly candle low, July, sorry. We're going to gravitate towards this area and we're going to attempt to take out the liquidity on one of these major levels, right? So I want to have areas of confluence lower that if we did somehow get that crash, I have ideas of when price gravitates towards those levels, takes out the stops of the people long, in the form of maybe an SFP that I want to get long at, right? And so what you're looking for is for price to come into these high liquidity areas, wick them out in an SFP, reclaim, and then head back up. But you're entering on your trigger here, right? And so that's two different ideas to the downside, but there's obviously more before then. We can draw many more fibs. I want to actually see. Okay, so great area of confluence once again at the next monthly candle low. So we've actually got 3 areas to the downside. And so the June monthly candle low, actually, this is a weekly candle low as well that we should mark out, most definitely. So this is a huge area of confluence. This 368, like this is a massive swing long area for me if we ever see it. I'm going to be setting alerts around this area for us, my advanced trading students. How to set alert, right click. What am I doing? Add alert. Whoop. 385. Every time, create. I'm going to set one at 378. Every time, 370. 361. I've got alerts for all when price gravitates into that area, right? And so what do we have here? A weekly candle low and a monthly candle low, $17 apart into a pivot GP. For my students, you know exactly how good that is for a setup. So, and it was actually the way, I'm almost certain that this sell-off here was to its GP. And I mapped this out for you guys. Oh, it was front run. No, that's right. It was that massive major front run, right? Let's actually have a look at how volumes played out since that black swan crash. The value area low comes in there, so that's a very good sign as well. So awesome setup area there. This is how. Ooh, hope for my, how many watches we got? 7. I hope you're not in Melbourne like I am. Absolutely pissing down. Is it raining where you are, Taylor? Oh yes. Probably shouldn't be having a black coffee at 4 p.m. Actually seeing if you're getting a local downtrend break here. Could be quite a decent bullish move. Let's just take note of that. All right, and in any case, this is my major setup to the downside. This sub 400 June monthly candle low that then comes in at the weekly candle low to the bottom side. That is my setup that I'm looking for on ZEC. So it'd be something like, maybe we form, holy moly, I hope you guys can't hear that. And it would be something like this. And my idea with crypto at the moment, and I know it's quite a mainstream one given the cyclical nature of it, but I do have ideas about midterms, about kind of to do with market structure, which we'll go through in BTC, which you guys have seen on many of the live streams before. But essentially what I do think will happen is that we might put in a lower high here on Bitcoin, we'd make one last lower low, and then we would resume the bull cycle, right? But if that's the case, I want to be looking for high time frame pullbacks that align with that BTC pullback. Now, a 25% pullback is a fair bit of pullback. So if we were to make a lower low on BTC, let's just say we make it at 52K, 55K, 13%. So yeah, that could fall twice as much. That makes kind of a bit of sense, right? So, and then if we get a catastrophic crash, let's just say it's between 40 to 50K. Well, these are the areas that I'm targeting on high time frame swing longs towards the end of this year for ZEC. So I'm going to put alerts around there as well to plan ahead for the future. You can also add the alert on the horizontal ray as well, which is probably a good idea. So I've got alerts for here. Alrighty. The idea that I would want to take on any of these longs, once again, is a swing value pattern into any of the monthly candle lows. In this case, in this shorter, you know what's funny? Like I said, I was going to go through 50 to 100 tickets. I've spent 20 minutes on the first one. Come into the value area low. I guess this will just have to be a continued stream. We'll probably get through like 20 today, maybe 10. And I'd want to see a wick, a swing value pattern into this value area low, into this weekly candle low, into the June monthly candle, all the liquidity wiped up from these last 2 months, or maybe it'll be 3 or 4 months, right? If we do it in October, and then I want to get swing long. And the idea here, right, is like, even the risk to return, right? Let's just discuss risk to return quickly. If you were to take a swing long here and take a swing long here, and prices crash so bad, you're going to be pretty scared to take it, right? Let's see a few more comments. Taylor, the Frost. Hi, the Frost. I want to see price wick into that and take out all the liquidity, hit the value area low, and then reclaim those lows. And as I said, the risk to reward, right, of taking those longs is that if you have strong risk management, which all of my students will, and once again, I'm going through these ideas preliminary on the ZEC chart, but I won't keep re-mentioning this every time we're looking at a setup, is a reminder that you only want to be risking 1 to 2% of your trading account when taking any of these executed triggers, right? So if it's a swing long, right, on ZEC, let's just say the wick comes in to play and we wick through it, and then we reclaim the value area low, reclaim the weekly candle low, reclaim the June monthly candle low. And let's just say that that's your trigger there, right? So you're entering on the basis, putting your stop under the wick with a bit of reading room, because we know, retests can happen and price could move like that, and you don't want to get cowered out like that, right? This is your invalidation of the whole setup, so that never moves. However, all you want to be doing is applying risk that ascertains 1% of your trading account to your stop loss. It's not 1% in price action, right? A reminder of that. It's 1% of your stop loss. So if you have a $10,000 trading account, what is 1% of $10,000, right? It's $100. So you need to adjust the size in your position to equal $100 loss if you were to get invalidated and stopped out, right? And why is that such a good way to treat trades and ideas? Well, if you have a $10,000 trading account, right? And let's just say you trade this back to the cycle high. That is a risk to reward ratio of 11, right? So you have a chance of making 11% taking a swing long, and you actually have 3 chances, 4 chances, 5 chances, whatever it is. And that's the idea behind risk to reward, using 1 to 2%, taking stops sometimes, re-entering, being invalidated and sticking to your trades, and you're going to find heaps of profitable trades. So I'm targeting those 3 areas for swing longs towards the end of this year. Might not get it, might not. A lot of us have spot ZEC, which is a great idea for those that don't. And now let's identify shorts to the upside, right? So I'm not just blindly wanting to long. We might get decent retests. I reckon the 786 perfectly aligns. Oh, I've got front run. All right, and I'm going to map out. And the reason why I want to map out, resistance levels as well here is that I don't want to do it just for the sake of this is where I'm going to short. I want to be doing it for profit taking areas, right, as well, or hedging areas. So at the upside 786, I denote my in red. I reckon the 886 comes in pretty closely with this as well. So that's a weekly candle high that I missed before. I do reckon the 886 comes in there. So we have some pretty strong resistance to the upside, right? All very relevant profit-taking areas. We can even draw a second fib. Yeah, look at that. So very strong confluence at that 640 level. So these would be your profit-taking areas if you were swing long from here, here, or here, right? Because you're getting a confluence of a monthly candle high, upside pivot 786. Your pivot local 886 comes in with the major 786 upside, and then the major 886 here even aligns with the cycle, 786. So all decent profit-taking areas, but I would look for shorts, obviously, here, particularly if you're hedging against your spot, where price may come into the monthly candle high, wick into the 786, take out all the liquidity, swing failure pattern this, and you have a short you can run down. And it's just very similar to the ideas to the upside, right? Same on this weekly candle high, into an 886, into a 786, swing failure pattern. And that might be the better idea because this seems rather a bit obvious, but once again, if you're using risk management and you're accounting for your size correctly, you can take 1 to 2 to 3 trades to then hit that. Look, similar exercise here, right? That's an 11.5R trade, and you've risked 1 to 2%. And similar up here, similar up here. So I'm going to set an alert on this high, an alert on that high, an alert on this high for shorts and for profit taking areas as well as hedging areas. But I think that's probably the best setups we're going to get. These three here, and mainly this one here for a swing long idea on ZEC. I know those two can come into play, particularly if BTC carks it. Let's just say we have a native black swan or something. But that's where I'd be looking to get long at, this area in particular, and if not these two lower, and then these for shorts and for profit taking areas. Alrighty, I think that's pretty good on ZEC. What do you reckon, Taylor, if you're still there? Oh, just spilled coffee everywhere. Great. Give me 1 second. I don't think Taylor's watching anymore. Alrighty, do you want me to next? Does someone want to give me next one, or you want me to just keep firing through them as such, and we just continue and continue? I think that's probably the best way if no one's here. I'll wait a little longer, and then I'll just start churning through them, right? I'm going to get up my list that I got up with Thingo. So let's look at Link next. I saw a comment. Do I see a comment? XRP. Easy. Let's do XRP. Great coin to trade. You want me to look at longs for XRP, the Frost? Alrighty, I'm going to show you what I sent out my students, and I think this was an idea from a while ago, but the same idea is going to apply. So you want Shiba Inu and XRP. No worries. We can go through those. So I view XRP here as a really strong high time frame long area, the Frost. And that's not taking into account a last lower low on Bitcoin. It's probably if the low is in. However, there's still ideas that we could track. So I think XRP will come lower and maybe give us a very good high time frame swing long. Okay, this one doesn't even show me fucking past price action. That's all right. We don't really need it too much. We just need the bear market one because I wanted to show this, right? So if we just plain and simply on a weekly chart draw our cycle low to cycle high fib, you will notice why I think this is a pretty good high time frame swing long area, right? So let's keep it like this. And so we have two distinctive major lows that have been wiped for liquidity purposes already, right? You can almost say three. April tariff lows, October 10th of the 10 lows, Feb 6 crash lows. So all of the liquidity of all the prior longs of the devastating different areas have been wiped. We then have this major high, which is a very strong SR flip. Then if you actually, I think, go to the daily and go a bit deeper around here, and that's a weekly candle low as well, by the way, you can actually begin to see, different daily candle lows here for liquidity purposes right on that 786, right? So let's just draw a few of these out like that. And so this is why I view XRP as a really high time frame kind of swing long area, right? Because like it's kind of sink or swim. And when I come back to that, g'day Paul, hope you're well. You kind of come back to that idea of taking a long, once again, it's risk to reward and risk management always. And so like we have 250% back to the highs. And even if we map out some upside fibs here for resistance purposes, right? So let's look at 1 month. Let's just look at the monthly candle highs and lows. Let's map out some of these, right? So we have very distinctive monthly candle highs that I'm going to draw out, and many of them are yet to be swept. actually an insane amount. So XRP is leaving a lot in the dust. Is this an all-time high on XRP? Can someone tell me? The Frost, you would know. I think it is. It briefly made an all-time high for 1 second. How you going, Paul? You don't have to be here, by the way, Paul. I'm glad you are. October monthly candle high. Sweet, thanks, Frost. Alrighty. If we draw a golden pocket, does that come round around the November? Just above. That's alrighty, Paul. Are you a client of mine, Paul? Keen to learn, awesome. So if we look to the upside, actually get off the monthly and go back down to the weekly. Let's actually assess this. Let's bring in drawing out resistance boxes. You can see how distinctively that 7x6 alignment with these highs is going to be seriously sticky stuff for the XRP army. When it comes back, you got a very clear resistance level there. Very, very clear resistance here. I'm going to draw a box for this one, high community. And the idea here, once again, it's very similar to ZEC, where you want to be using these, not as necessarily as such high time frame levels to short, but if you're long on XRP, right, even on spot, let's say you build up some leverage positions later in the piece, you want to have profit-taking areas, right? Do you fund, manage, or trade? Well, if you look at our YouTube channel, The Frost, we are Australia's largest cryptocurrency education, trading, and investing services company. We're also Oceania's, or I should say, Southern Hemisphere's largest distributor and hoster of Bitcoin miners as well. So what I do is I'm the head analyst or chief research officer here. And what I thought I'd do today, in case you missed it, is I have a number of students that trade under me in an advanced trading course where I mentor and teach them. So today I thought I'd just randomly do a couple of hours of a live stream, just randomly charting whatever tickers you wanted, given you're the one here, Frosty, and showing them how to apply, fibs, resistance, support, liquidity, monthly candle highs, and ascertaining different profit-taking levels, different levels to the downside that you can long at, so on and so forth. I'm really just trying to educate on different technical analysis metrics that you can begin to implement in your trading and investing. And of course, if you guys are here and you are a random, which I suspect you are, well, by random, I mean not a client, sorry, feel free to reach out. There's a book a call function, I think, in the description on our website, wherever you may look. So that's what I do, Frosty. That's what I'm here to do for you. So, why is that? Anyway, let's put this to the downside. No, but you can still take the same setups I take if you like. If that makes sense, Frosty. Alrighty, the volume on a lot of these XRP is similar to ZEC. Alrighty, bang. It's a very, 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 very good POC. Yeah, so as I explained at the start, Frost, you might have not been here. For my advanced trading students, I have a full course, me as a mentor. We have a private premium Discord so with all of these charts and trades, as you've seen, I'll be setting notifications and alerts on all of these, and I have setups channels. I'll give you a quick show. And in that, we have different setup channels, so on and so forth, as you can see here, where I send in various high time frame ideas, alt setups, F setups, B2C setups. We have a chat where we talk shit They can ask me questions, so on and so forth. And so I've been a bit quiet on the setups and the trading stuff recently. So really the idea was not only for you guys and the public and, you know, any of my students that are in the advanced trading course to see the education applied, the theory applied to many different charts or any given one you want. It's also so I can get on top of my own setups. I don't have a ton of alerts, a ton of things already mapped out, right? On XRP, on BTC, on ZEC, on a couple of stocks I'm going to look at, on some Forex coins. And then when those alerts are hit or there's a trigger setup or whatever, I'll then be sending them to my students in this private premium Discord. So yeah, that's what it is, Frosty. Hopefully that all makes sense. Obviously very clear resistance up here for the big boy. Then we've got very clear resistance here, right? But in any case, right, like, and I don't really see another area to get long at on XRP unless it's really this level. It becomes really messy if BTC makes another lower low, right? Because this is a SR flip. Let's just label it the mother of all SR flips. I'm literally going to label it that. And as you can see, right, because this is like the bear market range, this box here, and that's bear market highs. We made one high, two high, right? And so what we're doing is we're testing the top of the bear market highs around that dollar mark. And given it's such strong support, 786, SR flip, multiple highs, the value area low, I think, was there as well. Or was that at the very bottom? No, it's up here. We'll keep that there anyway. Yeah, I just feel like this is the correct area to get swing long off, if I'm honest. Like, but what I was meaning to say is like, yeah, if it makes that lower low, right? BTC makes the lower low in October 27. There's really not too much. I mean, we can map out the 886. How's that for a landing? You can kind of see the SR flip that then comes in there. That's a crazy aura, what I just did then. And let's actually draw out. It's a bit of an SR flip there. I'm just going to map it out just in case. And really the idea is that like, that's the lower low. Whilst I'm almost finishing up XRP, someone send me the next idea if they like. I'll take a look at it for you. Lower low idea later in the year. But really, yeah, this is the strongest place to be taking swing longs off on XRP. The only issue I have with support, right, is like we've wicked into it a couple of times and we're failing to muster any strength. And obviously that's market dependent. I don't really follow XRP fundamentally because I want to keep my brain cells. I'm joking. But, you know, whilst it's holding and consolidating support, the more it hits support, the weaker support comes. That's just how it works. So ideally soon enough, it's obviously going to require BTC to see pretty strong reversion, but you still have swing long ideas with strong profit taking areas straight to the February and May monthly candle highs, right? Like you can still take a long with invalidation below these lows. And, you know, even that is a 5%, 5R trade. And you're just simply trading that. With reversion would, you know, this is BTC 73 to 83K. And you can still take a 1% loss if this doesn't work out and BTC still makes a lower low, right? And then you've got a second idea to trade. And then very clear profit taking and resistance levels to the upside. This is definitely an area to build shorts in if we get one last lower high higher up in BTC. So let's just say we SFP this, right? At 75K BTC, and you're going to short it down to here, and then you're going to get swing long for the bull market. That's how I'd probably play it. But the major value area low from the cycle that comes in at both these monthly candle highs. But really, that should be a huge profit taking area, that Jan monthly candle high that comes in at the major POC, which actually front runs the golden pocket and November monthly candle high idea. And then these are the profit taking areas. Taylor, you're back. Craig, how are you? I'll go through some of Craig's tickers that he sent me in Discord the other day. Once again. Alrighty. Kragos wanted me to go through the ASX, Circle, and Gram. Let's go through the ASX first, the most depressing one. I got that silly stock market somewhere. Oh, I didn't even realize that it hit. Holy smokes. Or maybe I have? How's that for an SFP? Or maybe I did post about this. Let me quickly check the Discord. Did I post about this, Craig? I did. Because Johnny laughed at me, I remember. I mean, it's not too much higher from there, but you guys can see that I posted this SFP to my clients at the time. And it was a 10-year, decade-long SFP. You know I love trading XRP, Craig, more than the next guy. But you can see it's been a very clean SFP still. So let's map this out for you. Jeez, like, it just has not recovered, has it? We are a pathetic country. That's a pretty clear SR flip to me. Let's just map that out first. Is this our all-time high? It has to be. Yeah. All-time high. Map out that low. This low. Alright, so let's just call this GFC low. Can't remember what actually happened in our economy these times. I could remember that one. I'm not going to mark out these low. This is a very, very, very distinct SR flip. You can just visualize and see it, right? SR flip. I haven't been drawing too many of these. Let's draw this diagonal. Downtrend. So November monthly candle low. Does anyone here actively invest in the ASX? If anyone is here, I know Craig obviously would on some things. But like the setup was here, Craig, to be honest. Like at the time I posted, you know, I think I posted it at $50 after it SFP'd and it's up to 56. So that's still like what, a 10% gain or something. So I think that trade's done unless you're gonna get a retest, which like I don't really like the idea of that. Maybe I'm just looking for shorts and I'm just shorting this economy. This shit stone of Australia to zero. Maybe. No, I'm joking. I shouldn't be that negative. Let's draw this out as some resistance though, and then like I wonder, has there really been I wonder if we're seeing like a 20-year kind of not sure I like the look of this. Yeah. Probably don't have time to fully begin mapping out Elliott wave ideas, but it kind of does look a 5-wave up ABC correction, right? And ready for the next leg up. But I'd be interested to hear what you think fundamentally drives this. Like my only kind of thought process is a commodity super cycle that lifts the Australian economy then, and we just go bananas on that type of stuff. But once again, I don't think we do that particularly well either. Let's draw this as red. You can see this is a very sticky SR flip that we already actually failed to break through recently, a couple of months ago. So could be idea to swing failure that and fall under this. Maybe look for longs lower, but there's not too much I'm fond of on this chart from my immediate look. Let's just still map out the major levels, set some alerts, and we'll go from there. Nothing to do with that. Where is a monthly candle high? Alrighty. August. September. Whilst I'm doing the ASX for Craig, does anyone else got an idea for a next one? May? Should probably be putting the years of this, but ultimately it doesn't matter. I didn't actually realize that I was trying slow here. Should definitely be mapping it out then. September 15 month. June 13. So I think to the downside in a devastating crash in the Australian economy, Craig, the 786 and 886 make perfect alignments with serious kind of monthly candle lows and sweeps, right? Like we got the very first obvious November one, which usually those type of lows before they go on an impulse are perfect. Like this reminds me of ZEC, right? Like, look at what happened with ZEC. It had this like funky little weekly / daily candle low after its impulse that, see this? See how it's really similar here? How price like came up, it put in this distinctive low and then went on an all-time high and it had an ABC correction and all it did was perfectly take out that last low before it impulsed back up after that initial run up and sell up. So it kind of looks quite similar on the ASX, right? Where once again, you can call comparisons across any kind of assets to see how price action actually played out and draw and ascertain different ideas. See how like it was going on a run up and then it made that short pullback, which is like a big pullback in the scheme of things, right? Like that is still a 15% crash in a country stock market. And it perfectly came back and SFP'd that low. So very, very similar across ZEC and the ASX. But for any case, I'll be targeting retest. I'll set an alert for that for us there, Craig. And really it's these levels a bit lower though. I'm gonna set one there. And then maybe looking for any shorts on the way up, depending on what you think of the Australian economy and stock market, I guess. But this is TA. And then really, yeah, I think the interest just comes of seeing if this pushes. That's 3 green monthly candles in a row, right? Whether it can actually push through this SR flip that it failed to last time. If it does, I think it gets pretty big relief straight up to the May monthly candle high because there's little to no structure on this chart, right? Like it could SFP this weekly candle high, monthly candle high. Let's map that out. I could come up theoretically and do this. Project downtrend, hit that. So maybe it's looking for shorts around that 62 area, Craig. That's where I'd maybe think of some. Very distinctive. I reckon that's what it looks like. I'm questioning whether we've actually completed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks all a bit messy, but I think it could see pretty strong reversion, but I just don't have faith fundamentally. But anyways, that's all the main levels on the ASX, I reckon. Not a market I'm really interested in trading, Craig, but they're the high time frame levels. And what I would do for your case is actually, yeah, even better. Just go out and map through these high time frame levels of interest. I think that would probably be the best way to go about it. I don't know if these levels are ever going to come into play in the future, but it's worth marking them out in case they do, hey? Yeah. It's really this level here. That is the big swing long area. Maybe we get gifted in the next few years an all-time mighty 50% or so crash. Comes straight into the POC, reclaim September 5 monthly candle low, 786, and then breaks its downtrend from there. It's probably the best idea. I've got a ZEC on the long side, and then it's just taking shorts at the SR flip if we actually... I gifted that and a rejection, and then that's what I'd watch. Tower alerts for me. This is 26. Can't spell monthly. Years is 25. What the? May 22. Last one. August 22. Yeah, it's not a great deal on the ASX, to be honest. Like, yeah. What are we referencing? The white rabbit. What's the white rabbit? In any case, let's look at your other few. Let's look at the next one for Craig. Given he's here and he is my client, he gets preference. What else did you have, Craig? ASX Circle. Yeah, so I went over Circle in the last live stream and it actually had a really good trigger. It's actually being retested. And I think, Johnny, if you're watching this, you need to be watching this for your idea. I'm not even going to bother drawing it, but you can see I drew it on the last live stream, right? So what actually happened was we got a really good clean SFP on Circle, right? We came right into a weekly candle low, daily candle low. We're breaking our downtrend. We wicked into it, SFP'd. And, you know, those that were short-term trading had a really good trade. Like that's a 20% gain in a major stock, right? Like a major stock. What price has done is come in, it's filled this gap, got rid of the liquidity. But what I kind of questioned on that live stream a week or two ago, 2 weeks ago now, was whether price, you know, suffers here at support, kind of like XRP, like they're all just sitting at support, kind of waiting to kind of break through and not seeing any demand, but there's not too much selling. So I'm wondering if there's like a black swan or, you know, something that happens that forces sellers' hands here on a number of stocks and a number of cryptos to make that last lower low. You know, that's my speculation if you've been watching those live streams. And so super interesting dynamic playing out. And I think they're the longs you want to take if you see them, right? That last lower low, cheats everyone, scares everyone. Oh no, everything's going to zero. But all we're getting is a perfect liquidity setup where we're coming through. This is the February crash low. Bang. Why is this white? Red. Because I did my pocket before, maybe. February 26, crash low. And so what I want to see happen on Circle is, given it is a crypto stock, I want to see price lose this level of support. And like, you can take longs here, right? Like if you're 1% risk, you can still have invalidation below this weekly candle low, below the major 886. That's why I thought it was really good, and value area low. So when that came in, it was a perfect long to take, as I said, for a 20% gain, but that's all been written down. We're kind of losing this support, right? So I want to see if price comes in and actually sweeps the liquidity entirely of 2026 pretty much down to the crash low, makes one last lower low, and then actually sees huge reversion back to the upside. And if you can get pretty clean entry here with invalidation, let's just say that is the low, right? And you're accounting for size for there. It's almost a 20-hour trade, just back to, highs that we're seeing in May of this year. That's not saying if it goes much higher what you can do, but that is definitely the number one profit taking level. There's also going to be pretty clear local resistance to me after we just made these number of highs just here. So I would look to kind of here, right? These triple three highs. Draw out some diagonal resistance just in case. Be aware of that when price ever comes up into here. The very clear local highs here that failed to break. So really that's my only look at circle, I reckon, Craig. That's what I'd be waiting for. I'm going to set alerts for us around here. That's the swing long I want to take on it. Straight into this low, SFP, reclaim, long. Alrighty, Craig. That is circle. And then for shorts, yeah, I guess you can kind of look at them locally here. It's a bit messy to draw from this chart, but there's local ideas. But when a stock has come down 80%, right? Do I want to be looking for counter shorts or for longs? I want to be looking for longs, right? So there's obviously an idea here, which I've spoken of in the past on different live streams. It just looks like it's getting a bit weaker. So I would like to see if Bitcoin makes one last lower low, as does circle and everything else, and then we get those triggers. So I've set alerts for that for us. Gram. I've never actually looked at the gram chart, I reckon, since it's made its way from ton to gram. Let's take a look. What's this one? Is gram not on Bybit? Oh. Then we'll take the Binance chart. Hoi. So it's actually only existing. Right, so I'm going to have to look at the ton, which I've already got. Here, get rid of it, re-add it. This must have been the chart I used in the past when I was an investor in ton, a while back. Much higher price, so it's not great to have seen it come down, but at least I saved myself a bit of money there. Be interesting to see what was last joined on. Oh, I have not looked. See how I used to chart. Oi. I mean, it was the right idea, right? Means the last time I charted on this chart was mid 2024, where I recognized the pivot GP and multiple lows. But you can see what actually happened once that high time frame, cyclical channel was lost. It's just gone to shit. So, all good. I just saw your message, Craig. All good. It's interesting. It's coming back to a pretty nice level. This actually looks like quite a nice chart, Craig. I'm not gonna lie. Right at the major 886. Still got that. What is this? Oh, it's like I thought we were on the daily. I was like, why did it have a black swan in mid-October? 10th of the 10th liquidation low. It actually is one of the only few alts that hasn't filled that low. So that is a very interesting kind of realization. It's just leveled to me, but that's like 70% lower from where price even is now. 60. Pretty strong level of support still, but like I think it's more of a local idea here on gram, Craig. If you wanted to, because that's still, it just looks like such a small pullback because the chart is so effed, but it's still 20%. I just don't know what that aligns with, but guess anything can happen. We can just chop for the next. Let's draw this out. Let's draw this bottom tick support out too. That's like launch price action. These are our two major areas, I would say. And I'd say locally, you'd be more on the daily. No, is that a monthly candle low? Yeah, it is. It's the Feb 6 crash low. Interesting. All right, we've got two crash lows that are yet to actually, it's pretty rare. Like, if you've seen most of us backfill a lot of these, black swan lows that Bitcoin and altcoins made on both the 10th of the 10th October 2025 and February 6, 2026. So what I'd probably be looking for locally is like it continues to kind of hold this 886, but I just wait until all of this liquidity is wiped, right? It's been building up for all of 2026 since that Feb crash low. Like everyone that is long has all their stops all down here. And so what could market makers, whales and smart traders do? Well, they could just wipe everyone that's on the long side, build their own positions, and then send it, right? So what I'd be looking for on ton, on gram, Craig, is a sweeping of all of liquidity in 2026. I would wait until it comes into that Feb 6 crash low, SFPs it, reclaims, and that's my trigger to long to the upside. And I just have my stop under the wick as invalidation. And as I said, there's no point trying to look for counter shorts on a coin like this that's just down so much and continues to drop, right? That's a very clean, respective downtrend. Probably a key rigger for risk on while Seth breaks. But maybe that is what happens, right? That it keeps respecting this, and then it breaks out like that. So that's where I'm going to set my alerts for us around, Craig. I'm just going to earmark that this is a number of daily and weekly candle lows just here that are unswept. Even here, right? Like right on the 886. Very clear local levels to long. I'm not going to set alerts around all of them. I'm going to set on the lower one for us. But just noting that that you have actually a lot of local areas. You could scalp off, long off, multiple lows to be swept to the downside. As I said, very rare where you see this with an alt. It just hasn't wiped any of the lows it's put in this year. I guess that's because Ton had a massive native partnership or something here. Maybe someone can tell me, I don't remember. But that's where I would be looking for longs off either of these three levels, 1 to 2 risk, and just taking them as they come. But ideally, it's respecting this downtrend. BTC puts in a lower low, takes out all liquidity for 2026, and then reverses. Obviously, if we have a far worse period, you can then look to this 10th of the 10 liquidation low that then aligns with, bottom entry support, launch support, I should say. So really just this major level in here where we're already trading at, and 10th of the 10 liquidation low. As for price action and whatnot to the upside, we can map out a bit of that. Craig, I believe this was all three charts you asked for, but remind me if I've missed any. And if I haven't, people can feel free to begin sending in the next chart before I look at my list. $8.20. Just thought gram went higher. It's pretty respected downtrend actually. Can leave that. Monthly candle high. Should do this one. That is the unswept one. All right, let's see what upside profit taking levels and shorts look like regardless. Pretty clear 886 level. I reckon this would be pretty close to the GP. That's 382 a bit lower. I'm at the 5. So it's just going to be a serious SR flip on multiple lows. Let's mark that out. You can see, right, all these lows, how it's going to be a serious SR flip to get through that $4.50 level. There's little to no structure in between $5.30 though and $7.40, but there's key areas of resistance I'd look at. And I'm not going to mark out red boxes here, but these monthly candle highs are there to SFP, right? So March, August. No one sent me the next chart yet, so I'll be picking sporadically. But if there's one that you want me to look at, and I'll be looking for SFPs if that's what you want to do, is counter trade or counter short. So I'll literally just be looking for, you know, trades like this when it comes up, SFPs, 1% risk, so on and so forth. But, you know, as I said, with coins like this, the RR is what? To the upside, right? So worth watching this downtrend as well, but it's really where I'd play this level. I'd play it into here, Craig, on the long side. Devastating black swan with BTC makes a 35 to 40K lower low. I'm targeting 10 to the 10 liquidation low. I've set alarm. Did I set alerts? Can't remember. I'll set some for us. Alright, you got some pretty good alerts out there. I'm not really looking to short it, so I'm not going to set any alarm alerts high, but at least the resistance is mapped out on a higher time frame if we are long. Yeah, perfect. No one's picked another. How long have we been going for? I don't even know. Could probably do this for 20 hours. Did you have any more, Craig? Oh, your chat's not working. I've just OKB. Okay, let's look at OKB. Sorry, I just saw your Discord messages, Craig. OKB. Okay. They got a Bybit chart for me? Yes. Might not have the full picture though. We'll take a look. I'm gonna just double check this is the best chart we can get. I assume OKX will have the best one, Craig? Does it look the same? No, we get the second half of the picture. Best we look at that. I'll just let me know if there's any more, Craig, that you want, because I'll prioritize you first. And this should be your fourth one. Alrighty, I can see like a pretty clean uptrend somewhat. Oh yeah, that's clean as hell. Mostly. What the hell happened here mid-2025, Craig? Did they sign a bloody deal with Jesus? Maybe they signed on with crypto. Maybe that's when Crypto Coach Will became a partnership with OKX. Could have well been when we became partners with them. And that's why they've gone bananas. Perfect. These 886s on a lot of these charts come with that very final wick to the upside, don't they? It's pretty crazy. Reminder, high time frame down to low time frame. So let's just do the lower side first. So February. Yeah, what do we reckon, Craig? Was that candle the Crypto Coach Will candle? Let's just go bloody all-time low to all-time high. Very distinctive here. I wonder if it's completed an ABC correction here. What's this, Jen? Wait, is that? No. Very strong support here. Let's go back to the. Hang on, 1 second. I like it. Hi to me. Anyone like that song? I like it when you're nice to me. It's not quite as good at singing as I am at charting, sorry. But is it a copy to base? See what the volume looks like on this chart. What? Okay. Don't know what's happening now. Ah, that's right, the token burn. I remember you told me about this. Very strong uptrend from the lows. I wonder if this is just better. Let's map out the resistance anyway. Don't like it. Well, that looks like the 3 levels to a major upside. There's little to no structure. There are weekly candle lows that come in here, but I prefer this weekly candle high into the pivot GP for profit-taking levels. To the upside, very clear. Well, the December monthly candle high is probably where I'd look for shorts. Locally, we actually have an opportunity to short here as well. I wonder if that aligns with a local fib. Oh. Locally, could look for scalp shorts and liquidity at these highs. So could be something like we hold this trend and there's an idea to come in, hold this trend like a little elevator, come in, take out liquidity into the GP, lose the uptrend, come into the major uptrend. Maybe there's a long idea here. Just not as strong as confluence as I thought it would look. But in any case, that's what it looks like, Craig. I'd take shorts at this GP probably. If we manage to climb there and get it. Into the monthly candle highs, into a back test GP failure, and I'd trade it down to here, I think. If it holds that major uptrend. But once again, probably cyclically depends on what crypto does as a whole, this chart, right? But although it's been climbing pretty nicely, but geez, They sure sold their stock, didn't they, Craig? After they had the burn. I haven't looked at the tokenomics of OKB. Maybe I do again, but like seems a bit ridiculous. And then I'm majorly targeting longs. If BTC made that last low and OKB is the set, this is the token of OKX, right? OKB, is that right, Craig? I assume it is. Let's say edge a bit higher. BTC makes another lower high. Yeah, I target the February crash low, and there's listed long off as well. So let's just mark that as well. So I definitely work off the July and February monthly candle lows for swing longs. I'd look to see this uptrend break. Maybe you get a chance to short it here. I'd look for a short here. And I try and short it down to these lows in here. At either one of these, I'd take 1 to 2% stabs at both. So, you know, short and then hopefully SFP is there. You know, you might get a chance to like short out a fib there, right? And the 886 when it makes that high. You can use fibs predictively as well to map out your next move, right? So it might be that you're looking to get a short up in here. It makes that high, rejects back under, and then you're looking to take, sorry, I went way too deep, a long and SFP with the June monthly candle low. But if we slice straight through and there's no execution, maybe we tap into the major cycle, asset uptrend. We hit and take out all of liquidity from June, February, and really all of 2026, right? On the long side, hit our major uptrend, reclaim February 26 monthly candle low, and then that is a long trigger right to the upside. But you can hopefully get a swing long, and then I'd target the areas of resistance that I've shown up here, right? At least the December 25 monthly candle low at a minimum. Let's just say you got the confluence of this uptrend, you know, sometime next year, or let's just say it comes in like October this year when December makes I'm losing my mind. When Bitcoin makes a low, and see that's still a 7 to 8 hour trade straight to 25, and it's really like that's very easily possible. Back to GP, 13 hour, so on and so forth. But probably where I target this area for shorts and then this area for longs, taking into account the high time frame uptrend. Yes, Will did dump his allocation from the partnership. That's exactly why we've dumped. That's very, very smart thinking. All right, well, done OKB, a ASX, Gram, and what other one did I do for you? Circle. Any more, Craig? Happy to do whatever. Sorry, I haven't looked at the chat in a while. Hopefully no one said anything. No, no one has. Nathan said bot. Who are you describing, Nathan? Yourself? G'day if you are there, Nader. Hopefully you stayed on and you'll learn a couple of things. Oh, wait. I'll ask you on chat, Craig. Any more tickers? MQG. Macquarie, Craig? Okay, that's Macquarie. I thought Macquarie just... Oh, no, so that was... Yeah, all good. Whoo! Jeez, this thing's a monster. Fuck. I wouldn't have thought this existed in Australia. Is Macquarie Australian? This is the Mal Cameron price action you're getting here. What the fuck is this? Oh, that is a big breakout. That is a big breakout. That is a big, big breakout there. Let's just draw this in the normal trend line and actually visualize that resistance break. But I wonder if this was the 618 extension taps that it rejected from. Oh, oh, pretty crazy what this chart is doing. Jeez Louise, man. That's a big breakout. Very, very big breakout. All right, dude, I still map out some stuff, but like I'm mapping it to all-time high now, right? And so I could wake up tomorrow and a lot of what I've drawn's obsolete, right? Because if price just did this and ended up here, I've drawn my fibs on the factor that this is the all-time high that it closed today. Oh, sorry, this week. And on the weekly, my bad. No, it was today. Macquarie has made an all-time high today. Is the stock market still open? No. That's what it's closed at. That's insane. I didn't even know Macquarie was doing this. Goes to show how much I care about Australian banks. It's just market as current live at. Let's still go back to the monthly. We can still map some things out. We could wake up tomorrow. Maybe it's down 10% because crypto coach Will sold his stake yet again. What is this? What is this fib? Nothing exists in it. Like the way you lie, like the way you lie to me. So, very clear levels of support. Let's try if we can visualize this in some cycles, Craig. Might better help us understand. That's like an 8x. What's this? 15 to... Can't be an ABC correction. Yes, it can. That actually looks quite clean. ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alrighty, let's see if we can get a 5-wave count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does look pretty clean from that perspective. If we're just looking at it from a very, very generalized Elliott wave perspective. Can't because this low makes it. What the hell happened in it's coded low? It makes it harder given the extensions aren't. Let's just actually look at the 1 to 618 extension. Maybe that's a profit taking target, Craig. It's just something to consider this. I'm not very confident. No, it's in free air, but in any case, we can map out some high time frame longs on Macquarie based on these monthly candle lows, confluence of all of them. And let's just call this the all-time high. I don't think it will be. Craig may know more. Let's just see if these fibs align with anything that I like. Alright, that doesn't mean anything. I'm going to draw one from here to here as well. Okay, that interests me. That we do want. Those impulse lows are always funnily played with. Where does this come from? This. Let me map out this is support, even though I don't think it's great. And I prefer these lows taken, not just this low. That seems like the high time frame swing long area. It's just taking out all of the liquidity at these three lows, because it could be a 4 drive here, right? Where you kind of get this situation. Which happens often, and it happens on BTC a lot. So I'm going to try and draw on my knowledge there. Where the bloody hell is this shape, man? Where you get this situation where we get 1, 2, 3, 4 drive, and then we get the massive A, B, C correction after a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or you could probably draw the 5 wave a bit differently. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but that's probably what I don't know if you hold this stock or if you're, or whatever, but yeah, it's hard to say profit taking wise, and I don't know anything about it fundamentally, but chart wise, I'm looking for a rejection up here or up here, and I'd be targeting an ABC correction over a higher time frame into this lower end of support here. That represents, multiple lows here to wipe for liquidity purposes into the pivot golden pocket from the COVID low. And if not, right, and let's just say this stock crashes and it doesn't even hold on to this as support, well then, yeah, I'm targeting pivot 786 from the COVID crash low, as well as the major golden pocket, and this little low here. Without that, you can just then go to the very 3 clear, distinctive levels. I'll set an alert on this, which we might not see for years, but hey, Craig, if we do, I'll send it to you. I'm sending alerts on all of these. That's for sure. It's like, I think it's just more of a local thing. If you're looking to try and play the top of this, right, it's just about literally going to 5 to 15 minute, maybe going to order flow, maybe going to different things. But you have no high time frame kind of jazz to work off here, right? Oop. And really, 5 minute. All right, so yeah, we're on the 1 minute chart here, but this is what you have to work with. Local price action. It might be, we put, was it 11 a.m. this morning? Yeah. 12 o'clock today, we put in the all-time high. So maybe you're just watching for price to do this tomorrow. I don't know if you think this is weak. I don't know if you think there's something on the other side of it, but it literally is just literally playing a low time frame SFP, where price would, chop some more, and then maybe it would just take the liquidity above the highs as everyone thinks it's going to price discovery, and then it rolls back over and all the longs that are late get murdered. And maybe you can scalp a short down here or even lower if that is that true ABC correction. But that is Macquarie. Any more, Craig? So I move on to next. So I haven't been looking at the chat. Polish it, would ya? My fingernails? What am I polishing here? I would polish some food off. Bloody hungry. Lululemon. Craigos, did you have any more? I will wait for you. Another minute or so. I see you, Craig. I'll speak to you tomorrow. I will go back to my list, my clientele. All right, let's look at VVV. This is a coin of interest to me. Thank you to 5 minute chart. I thought that was a daily and I thought I was going to get my setup. All right, I've already got these setups here. But I'm adding alerts here for VVV. For sure. I know that this wasn't drawn for you guys. It was already drawn for me a couple of weeks ago. But from cycle low, or kind of the all-time low, I guess, to recent cycle high. I think that's when BTC made that 83K move. Drawing from our major low to our major high, we have a pretty clean downtrend break here. I'm pretty keen to see how this looks a bit more locally too. Yeah, perfect pivot, golden pocket, liquidity retracement there. That would have been a nice long to take, right? Although, you probably got nastily front run by not taking out this daily candle low, but into a GP, that's usually fine. So then you got a nice clean local downtrend break, right? So this looks all right locally. But I'm going to mark out some major lows now on the weekly. Actually, let's just go to the monthly. Work our way backwards as per usual. So we've got monthly candle high, monthly candle high, monthly candle low, monthly candle low, monthly candle low. There's a monthly candle low there. I'm just going to leave that. Monthly candle low, all-time low. June monthly candle high. July. It's low here, July. May. Even though I haven't. May. What have I done here? Can't be both months. March 26. Pretty interesting chart, this one. It's actually like, I don't know, highly desirable, if I can say that. And let's just leave these bottom supports there. I don't think we're going to see these ever again on this chart. Move to the weekly. Most of the important monthly sweeps are the weekly ones too. What I will premise is if we have made the low, then yeah, you got some weekly candle lows that might come into play on resistance. Might get a mini sweep to the downside. We're at front run. Alrighty, these are my high time frame areas. Pretty satisfied with that. I reckon we get some. We get some volume profile in there, assess what that looks like in Confluence for a fair bit of stuff. Okay. Don't think we're ever going to see as low as $3 again, but if we somehow do, I'm taking it on that POC. And that is February. Alrighty, so yeah, essentially you've got a pretty interesting situation with Venice, where it's broken a downtrend, it's held its local GP, it went into a pocket of liquidity locally of these daily candle lows, but it actually never fully swept them. So, even locally, you still might get a chance where price action does kind of this, sweeps fully, reclaims GP, reclaims daily candle low. You might be able to make a scalp, which once again, don't underestimate how volatile these newer tokens are. Even if it made the wick that pretty deep, right? That's a 7R trade just to price action that was there a week ago, which is just as big as some of those stock moves I was showing you before there, right? That's a 7R trade. But if price does succumb to this local level of support, it's not ultimately too strong. It's a pivot GP with a daily candle low. It's not a high time frame, weekly, monthly level, or major pivot golden pocket. I do see price action then sweeping into the July monthly candle low. So we've put that in. We've actually mean reverted a fair bit, as much as 50%, and we're currently still up 25% from that low. But what I envision Venice doing is that if it does lose this local level of liquidity, it comes in and sweeps July and then goes from there. Now, probably where I want to premise and where I want to set my alerts, which I have set around here, is it looks a bit obvious, just that there's no real, unless we see what the fibs look like from this consolidation, but what would it be? An 886? Lordy. Done that a few times now, I have. But really, I guess it actually is a pretty strong level. You're getting this SR flip. You're getting a pivot 886. So this could be, they're the two long ideas for Venice for me on perpetual futures. I think locally you could try and scalp a trade up to there, but really it's about probably losing this level, sweeping into this SR flip, which is our pivot 886 from this consolidation. It's also the July monthly candle low. So you have pretty strong confluence there, right? And price would come down, sweep this low, reclaim 886, reclaim SR flip, holds as support, and then right, you've got a long up to those highs, even back to the weekly candle high in GP, right? If that doesn't hold, then yeah, I'd look for sweeping into the May monthly candle low, major pivot GP from cycle low to cycle high. You have several. Why did I say that was the May monthly candle low? It's not. Just gonna call it a major SR flip, but you have heaps of weekly and daily candle lows. So if price doesn't hold on to there, let's just say we get a scalp, reject there an ABC correction, I reckon this is the best place to get involved. Right into the major GP, right into major SR flip, so on and so forth. Oh, the value area high might sit. Okay. And then you have several ideas lower. I just don't think these are going to come into play given the nature of this token. But never say never, right? Like if BTC crashes to 40K, I can see this crashing another 50%, which is down to at least the March. So the levels to take care of. I won't set alerts on them for now. Shorts to the upside because I guess a stronger than usual token plus other things means that you can definitely look for shorts as much as you can look for longs. So let's actually let's actually discuss it, right? So multiple daily candle highs here. See price action bounce, local GP, maybe it comes up, it's swing failure patterns the July, and this is also they're both in July. Weekly candle high, monthly candle high, big resistance level, swing failure patterns right into it. Maybe short back down to one of your long ideas. Stop above the wick for the back half of 2026. Maybe that's the short to take here. You're going to get a bit of a bounce from this local GP, value area high, weekly candle low, and maybe price action does creep up into here before Bitcoin puts in its next lower high at 67K. Then you get a short down to the major 786 and then a swing long for the bull market. It's probably something I'd consider chasing, or what I'd be thinking about. So yeah, that's the main short idea. But these are all very heavy resistance levels. So here, and the 786 will come in here, I bet, just thereabouts. Boom. So major profit taking levels to the upside, but also swing short areas that I'd also look into. I'm wondering if it's had an ABC correction. Like a lot of charts look like this, right? That have been on cataclysmic rises, like ZEC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. So maybe it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it's just the start of something much bigger for Venice. Who knows, right? Different way to look at it. If that has been the ABC correction. I know that one was for Ian. So hopefully Ian appreciated Venice on. Maybe I'll send him. So Ian's one of our clients. I'll send him this afterwards. That looks relatively clean. Like I like this token. I want to get on the right side of along of it. So I'm definitely got the alarms set all for this level. Definitely gonna set them around this level too for us, which is only slightly lower, like 20% lower. So alerts at this level and this level. probably set alerts at this level as well for shorts. So I've got that for us. And then I would probably take some shorts up here as well, depending on price action. And as I said, you're wanting to time a lot of the shorts or even the longs right, depending on if you're on the other side of it. With midterms, with this lower low idea, with different high time frame ideas you have on the stock market and on crypto, obviously, right? Particularly if you're swing trading these and not trying to scalp, we're obviously looking at higher time frames. So definitely something that you want to consider. Alrighty, next one. Does anyone that is in the chat, I'm going to quickly go to the toilet, take a little, how long have we been going for? Almost 2 hours now. Dude, this is crazy. I could do this like, maybe, Cal, if you're still here, we set up a 24-hour live stream. And I just do it for 24 hours like a zombie. 1,000 tickers is the goal. I'm quickly go to the toilet, see if the stream catches up. If anyone has any charts they'd like me to look at, I'm going to continue down the list. If not, I'll continue. Yeah. Alrighty, no one's got another ticket for me, so I shall continue. VVV, let's finish all of Ian's off. I did all the ones my client once wanted me to do, and then we can go from there whether I continue or not. So, done all the crags. Now, Ian had Zek. VVV just did. Zek, we've done. VVV, we've done. So let's go through Link, Uni, Ave, Hype, and Lit. For 5 great tickers to go through. Let's get through these. Even. Alrighty. That's an interesting start, the old Chainlink one. Hey guys. Alright, let's show from Cycle though. This coin is priming. It's literally screaming for a long, isn't it? Ah, lordy. I used to like have so much fun charting. Yeah. And on log scale, I haven't been looking at log scale on many of them. I don't have time to look at both versions, but like, it's an interesting asset. I'll tell you that. If you get into the mathematics and log scale of Chainlink and blah, 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 you're going to start losing your mind. Let's just start from low to high again. So once again, monthly, down to what? Down to daily. Has it taken that liquidity? That is as clean as it gets, man. Righty. Shouldn't mark getting all these lows that have been taken out, right? Like this is all of the lows have been taken out. February 6th, 10th of the 10 liquidation, April tariff lows. Makes a good case to build longs here. But it was at the SFP, right? Like the trade you wanted to take was, this is the October, this is the start of the bull run. Just gonna label it that. That makes more sense. And that's a monthly SFP, right? Like we already went up as high as on this trade. Like you've traded an asset 30% almost, but could get a retest. Never say never. Power market low. May 26 monthly candle high. That's our monthly levels I'm interested in. Show a fib from our cycle high to cycle low. Right, clear resistance there. 7H6 probably perfectly comes in at September because maths is maths. And the world works in a funny way. Would you believe it? There are two major upside resistances. These are strong profit-taking levels on spot, on leverage longs, whatever it is. Let's see what our volume profile looks like for this bull market. So like, I bet if I pulled this, it just makes it even better, right? So look how clean that is for technical analysis on this volume profile. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. But what I'm going to do is draw it from the all-time high to low. Doesn't look like anything significant to my naked eye. Like that GP is going to be too high, too low, sorry. Too high, I meant. So, this is probably your biggest profit-taking level. Where probably at some point in the cycle, Link picks up. What it will do is it'll go on this gigantic run, and everyone will think, oh yes, it's broken last cycle highs. It'll finally break all-time highs, and it probably just takes out the November 21 monthly candle high into the major golden pocket and completely retraces again, potentially. That's just a brief idea. Don't care about these, they're irrelevant. Alrighty. It's good areas to the upside for profit taking and shorts, at least for now. About to say, where's my... So like, you couldn't have got a better long entry in just reviewing it, right? Like, probably nothing here locally unless we get a retest and you swing failure all of these lows and reclaim the 886. But this is into the major point of control on this chart. which is massive. This most majority of links volume, or the most, you can see how much volume actually, like if that's why you want to look at demand, like this here is like 3 times more than anywhere else in the chart, and it all comes in around $8. So like it's kind of similar to XRP in the sense that like it's just a generalized swing long area for me here, maybe better on spot. But if you're looking for leverage trades, that's where you need to take into accountability locally, SFPs, reclaims, triggers, execution, so on and so forth. But like just in general, like this is the prior bear market highs. It's the major 886 retracement. It's just lower than 3 major lows into the major point of control into a monthly October 23 monthly candle low before we impulsed. So for like liquidity purposes, this was the perfect SFP to take. What you're probably hoping for now is a retest, reclaim, and then that is a trigger for me to long. So I will set alerts down here, but like in generalized, like you can do a lower leverage or spot or whatever, but like generalized, this is a very, very good swing long area. And then if we somehow cave on links deeper, I don't ever see it getting to $5.60, but once again, BTC is 40K. What do you think link will be? It'll be $5. So this is the August 2020 monthly candle low. And like once again, for like spot purposes, like you're getting as good as R as you can on link down here at the value area low, August 23 monthly candle low and the bear market low, right? Like that's, yeah. Probably should have looked at. This chart is insane. Plain and simple. Yeah, nothing really interesting into the major fib there. So yeah, really it would be about building longs if we get that SFP retest of this level here, or else it does make the case kind of harder. For swing shorts, once again, it's looking for SFPs of monthly candle highs. See if we've got a pivot. Interesting there. I will just draw this out as a weekly candle high because it's a pretty distinctive SR flip if you take into account all of these lows and the demand that was bought with them. So weekly candle high, this is, I will set alerts around here for a short for us. But yeah, really to the upside, I guess these are profit taker levels, SFP levels, looking for a SFP of that May monthly candle high. If BTC saw say 72 to 73K and put in a lower high, then you could trade the lower low into the end of this year. And I'd look for swing longs off of a retest of this area or definitely this area. Profit taking level is pretty clear. You get the value area high that then comes in right at the 25 monthly candle high. So once again, these two levels are pretty distinctive. Also for aggressive profit taking levels, if you do leverage long here, or even on spot DCA, but link chart's fairly clean. Like look at where the fibs line up, the POC lines up, the SFP levels are. It's all very distinctive and very clean. It's one of my favorite coins to trade as a result, much like XRP, Doge, and other coins like that. Really distinctive highs, lows, confluence, so on and so forth. So yeah, I'd really be building swing positions around here and looking for shorts at 12, 14, and 10. These are major profit taking areas. Alrighty. That's link done. Let's get Uniswap. $3 Uni now. Wow. Never charted before. I want that older price action. I hate how Bybit never has it. Binance isn't going to have it either, is it? But it does. Sorry, CZ. Alrighty, let's look at VC Uniswap. Coming to a pretty good high time frame level here, Ian, if you do watch. I just wonder if the low is here. They're building some pretty cool stuff. The October 10 low is still live. That's my target immediately off the naked eye for swing long. So I come in and we get gifted this monthly SFP. It's not that much. It is a fair bit lower. What am I talking about? Pretty distinctive SR flip here as well, where it's battling to failure to reclaim. But it is seeing a breakout. Worth noting, if it reclaims this SR flip and gets a larger breakout of this high time frame diagonal downtrend, there's no reason it can't see reversion to the upside. Alrighty, I'm just drawing no fibs at all, apparently. Give me 1 second. Alright, pretty clear upside here. We got a major weekly candle high. Is it monthly? No. Yes, it is. January monthly candle high. In my hand. 25 August. Sorry. Alrighty, that's two distinctive, very keen upside levels of resistance. They all just align perfectly with weekly candle highs. December, monthly candle highs, I should say. Weekly candle high. Was this cycle's high? Yep. No point in this. What am I doing? Yeah. Very, very clear resistance levels to the upside. So I guess, Ian, if it does break out here, the big watch is if it breaks this, obviously, pretty big downtrend from December 24, which actually, obviously, is a very distinctive cycle high, because if you do remember, obviously, that was when the big meme rush when Driller was going off. And we've put in a cycle high where we've come and failed to break through the monthly candle high of January 2022 at the back of last cycle's bear cycle. So really what that showed is Uniswap was the thing of the last cycle, and it didn't accept back into its value that it ascertained last cycle or ended last cycle at. I am pretty big on what Uniswap are building and what they're doing. Obviously, we're not here to talk about fundamentally the tokenomics or what they're building or what they're trying to do or achieve, Ian. But yeah, like it's a bit hard to take swing longs off, right? But I just target these lows, and I target a lower low on Bitcoin that gets you this entry down here to the 10th of the 10th liquidation, and then down to the recent May low. But it's actually, I'm not surprised that I'm seeing it. I did mention just then, I really like what they're building. They're really trying to bring the chances back, add new features in, and continue to build on their protocol. And as a result, like you're seeing, like it got that pullback in May, and whilst most other things are kind of chopping, it's bounced as much as 65%, which I'm not surprised about. There could be a trigger, a breakout trigger to try and play this in. If you do get a break above the SR flip, and maybe I don't trade like this. I wouldn't ever recommend trading like this. But maybe if it broke out and reclaimed this local high, just like setting a stop and trying to play the runner below this low, and try and trade it back to cycle highs. I never trade breakouts, and I would never do that. I would look for local retracements either to this high time frame support level, or we can probably play it as fibs, right? So that's a pretty clean resistance. That would have been the short to take, right? Hindsight, and we went looking at this chart. Yeah, so maybe I'd play it locally at these two levels where you see the stack of local and weekly candle lows. So this is a weekly candle low, right? This is a monthly candle low. So I just played into these two local fibs. I just played into the 786 and the golden pocket. And I just trade 1 to 2% on each of these retracements until a liquidity grab or SFP of both the weekly candle lows into the fib levels, right? So price actually comes in. It could even sweep these lows and probably see a relief bounce. Maybe that's like for an A, B, C back to here. Something to consider. Could get a local. I'm actually just going to draw a green box, but I'm not going to set alerts around it. Anything, just noting that that's where it could catch support off the back of this impulse, grab that liquidity before resuming the uptrend. Because a reminder, like these coins don't just bounce massively and then they're done. They could be, but usually what happens, right, is you get a massive bounce and then you get a pullback, and that's wave 1 into wave 2, and then wave 3 commences much higher, wave 4, wave 5. Remember how the psychological aspect of a market that's trending upwards or downwards, depending if you're looking at an ABC correction or even a 1 to 5 correction. I'm on the way down in like a wave C, but yeah, like you're looking for retracement to continue the uptrend, right? Because if this has break in market structure from lower lows and lower highs to now lower highs and lower lows, you want to be catching along off the higher low, which could be here. But in any case, if we do lose that local level on uni, I would be targeting longs at the GP and at this weekly candle low. Right there and right here. That seems the two best areas. And then, of course, if the market completely caves, you're just targeting all-time lows in the main monthly candle low and swinging off of here. Great level too. So what you might want to watch is the current uptrends that are on this asset. Yeah, see, it's broken a pretty steep uptrend, so you might get a chance now that that's broken and back test it, and then it comes down and takes this liquidity. Sorry, maybe not that deep. Then you've got a swing long with a validation below that low, targeting back to the highs or even further. And I just take the exact same long here and the exact same long here. So they're the three areas that I'll set alerts for you. If you are not a client and you are watching this, which I don't think anyone's here, and I'm kind of just talking to myself for people to rewatch at a later point, my clients, I will be sending these into our setup channels. So you can set the alert yourself or you won't have to. If we hit any of these triggers, I'll be sending them to you. They're the levels I've set alerts at. Probably best to see for profit takings. Yeah, big one here. $10 psychologically as well. It's got to be a monthly candle high in here that I probably missed. That's worth mapping out, so it's good to go back. That's a major monthly candle high, so I'm targeting profit taking here. You can see the confluence. But yeah, local lows, local weekly candle lows here. This high time frame swing long area, medium time frame. I probably look for shorts around here. I must have alerts around here. But major profit taking areas too. So something to take note of. But that is Uniswap for you. Looking pretty good, looking pretty clean. And a couple of these setups I would be willing to take in. So put the alerts on there. And we'll have to wait and see, obviously. See if they execute or they trigger. Uniswap. Now we have Aave. Aave. I don't know where it is, so I'm just going to type in that. Now, I was big on Aave last year, kind of in that DEX mini super cycle. So I'm kind of keen to see, Ian, I'm glad you've raised it, where this MF sits. Alrighty. Let's recap price action a little bit here, shall we? Holy smokes. Clean. How's that for an SFP? Remember that like impulse that I always talk about before it impulses? Done it again here on the monthly on Aave. Aave, what do we reckon it is? 3 people here watching now. I think it might be Cal on 2 screens, maybe me on another. How are you, Cal? Are you still there? Probably not. I will wrap this up soon. I'll do these last 2 charts. I'm just going to go on for 2.5 hours, and I'll do another one tomorrow or Thursday. I will just see which other charts my clients had. Johnny had these. SpaceX. Let's take a look at Aave. Aave. Very clear resistance here. Very clear. They're just so, it's just been a nightmare for Aave. It's literally, yeah. I mean, I guess for most coins. Alright, I'm going to finish off Ian's charts, everyone, which will take us a bit over the 2-hour mark, 2.5 hour mark we'll probably get close to. And then I'll do another 2.5 hour live stream with the rest tomorrow. Might do that privately for clients instead of publicly as, yeah. Of December. Alrighty. A lot of monthly unswept. Like, it's just an insane amount. It leaves behind a lot of them. So Aave's going to have a bit of trouble on the way up. I have multiple SFPs. We have the April 24 monthly candle low. How is Aave doing so poorly and why don't run so hard after? Can't remember. But the top of the bull market was here. Interesting. If anyone wants to find out or tell me, do forget. Oh, and here. Monthly candle low. That's just the deepest best support you're gonna get, because that's pretty much launch lows, which makes local sense. Let's draw a few of these boxes. It was a deep SFP, so it wasn't easy. But you can see why it's kind of holding the support, right? It's reclaimed October low. Draw out upside resistances, so like this has to be. I think it'll look a lot cleaner on the weekly. Like the monthly just looks ugly. Weekly candle high. So we've got all of our monthly, weeklies, and oh, it's just going to be, this is crazy. It's going to be so much resistance for Aave on the way back up, but that's what demand's for, baby. These are the major resistances. So yeah, to the upside, it's much like the other alts. It's come down so much and so deep that really, if you want to, whoa, what did I do? If you want to play shorts, counter trend shorts from the lows, right? It's literally just about playing into the SFPs to the upside of each monthly candle high, hedging there, 1 to 2% risk, get in, get out, or you can try it and hold them for swing shorts as well. So we actually haven't taken out the May 26 monthly candle high. So the idea here is that we can continue this uptrend and maybe you'll get a peep into it. And this is where the uptrend will break. Once again, I'm trying to align thinking and ideas with BTC putting in another lower high at another area higher than 83. So higher above us, but below 83K to put in that next high time frame lower high. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, but if it happens, right, do you want to be short Bitcoin, short alts? Of course you do, right? Because you then know that the likeliness of the next higher time frame lower low for BTC is coming within 40 to 57K. Being able to short an asset, let's just say from 73K down to 53K, and alts from Link from 10 to 5, you Aave from 100 to 50, whatever it is, right? You're going to be printing a lot of money and extra profits that you have in your back pocket to then get leverage long when it makes that lower low into a higher low, for spot purchasing as well also. And this is also a really good way to hedge. But in any case, price may continue up this uptrend. Maybe we come into the May 26 monthly candle high, SFP, before we make that last lower low. But if not, no, if BTC makes a move to 73K, which would be what, a 10 to 12% move, Aave can definitely go up 40%, right? And if it does, and we get a huge reclaim here, and it comes in for the last lower low, and then we crash towards August, maybe this is the idea, right? Where I'm looking to short an SFP of multiple highs here, but the February's 26 monthly candle high, short it, back down to the June monthly candle low, 23. Finally take out all of the liquidity of all of the lows, bear market lows, and then, swinging long here. This is how you can kind of plan ahead. No, I don't know if this is going to happen, right? Like price might just continuously break out and go up only from here. None of the shorts work. No, I don't know. I'm just planning ahead strategically of different ideas. So when they happen, I'm not surprised. I know what to do. I can handle whether BTC makes a new lower low, whether it doesn't, right? I've got areas and alerts set for levels I'm willing to long or short and get interested at. But I ultimately think that would be the best swing long area. Obviously taking out all the bear market lows, all of the liquidity prior. I think Aave's had a number of things that have happened to it across this cycle, even talking back to the hacks recently and what was involved there. You know, these are the different ideas you can use. And so, you know, to the upside, once again, very clear profit taking levels, monthly candle highs to SFP. It's not too much confluence with a lot of them, so I tread pretty carefully, but this weekly candle high sticks out to me into the major golden pocket. You know, that would be a short area or hedge area, profit taking area. And then, yeah, locally, you know, you might even just get a chance to just take out this local monthly candle low here. I didn't even notice that was one. This is the July monthly candle low. Monthly candle low. July 26. Into the major 8. I don't care about this. What's happening there? So this might be the long side SFP locally. You know, you get price, it creeps up. Maybe short here, long into here, short here, long here. You know, this is like something you guys need to realize that you can plan ahead for, and you can have several ideas for 100 of them on an asset, and you've mapped out that many paths. So if it ever happened, right, you just know exactly what to do. And you could play it like this. I'm just taking position after position based on the technical analysis and flow of price action, right? And then you could have something like this. Like, imagine pulling this off. How happy you'd be. And all you did was watch the chart for SFPs and local levels of confluence where you could execute triggers. But yeah, maybe something like that. That's something to watch. But yeah, they're the ideas on Aave. I'd be targeting local lows here. And then these two levels lower. But it's in a bit of a tricky spot now that's climbed a fair bit, Ian. I'll be pretty honest with you. Alrighty. We'll do another 10 minutes. So then that's at the 2.5 hour mark, and I can continue the next 2.5 hours tomorrow. Hyperliquid. Here you go. Let's just quickly look at Hyperliquid. I'm going to redraw everything and map out absolutely everything. I might leave this to tomorrow, but really good example of me telling you guys in the alt setups channel. Here, right? You know, giving you guys the SFP at the weekly candle low. You know, I notified you of it again yesterday. What's been the result? Boom. Anyways, good to guess good to see my message from my clients there. But yeah, in any case, right, so what happened here was price came down, began to uptrend, and I actually queried my clients on whether this was a potential lower high here. And the idea that if we broke this uptrend, price would obviously gravitate back to the next major liquidity level, which was what? This weekly candle low. What did it do? Perfectly came in. Like, I can show you the timeline. Probably my students will probably make this fun live stream, right? But like, this happened ages and ages ago. Yeah, right? Like, I'm talking about it here. I'm talking about shorting it back there, right? This is how you can plan ahead, right? I was short there and I wanted to plan for lower long levels. You know, it didn't work there, didn't work there. Where did it work? Here. See, I'm showing here how into the 886 it made, that 786 it made that lower high. And the likeliness was that it was going to come down and test one level, June monthly candle low, right? The exact same as when I was setting it up here, and I showed you guys that example. And both examples will probably get put into the course. But, you know, in any case now, if you had taken the reclaim here, and you just had alerts set for this level, right? You would now be long, and you would have longed on this reclaim. You've now got your long position just with your invalidation just below the wick, right? You've longed on that reclaim. A long for Hyperliquid, back to cycle highs, is a 12-hour trade. That is a great trade. 13-hour trade to 100. 25-hour trade, right? And all you've done is taken a leveraged long position at 1% risk, and you've taken it into a monthly candle low sweep, into a pivot GP, which is pretty much as strong as you can get. Last lower high, higher low to all-time high. Pivot golden pocket comes in perfectly at the June monthly candle low. Price puts in a lower high. We see a bit more of a pullback. We've got a trigger, and like that's still a good trade, right? Like you've traded at 5% in the right direction. You could remove risk. You could take profit. You could be holding for a mega swing trade. So be it. But having planned ahead for that, did you see how I could envision price action? Hi Wilson. Don't know when you sent that. Can't see Wilson, but sorry for missing your hello. And being able to take that execution and trigger and being able to plan ahead is exactly what makes trading, right? Alrighty, I'm going to leave lit. I'm going to leave a few others. We've got many, many more to go through. I'm actually going to go back and count how many we went through. I'm not too sure, maybe 20 odd. Do another 20 odd tomorrow, maybe it's new 20 odd the next day, and we'll have 60 to 100 setups we can follow across the coming days, weeks, and months. For anyone that watched this publicly, you will not have those, or you'll just have it via this live stream, but you won't be able to get them sent out. But yeah, if this is something you guys are interested in, of course, click the links in the description. I'm going to head off for now, and then we'll continue this tomorrow, most likely privately for my clients. But if this is something that interests you, the education, feel free to reach out to Wilson or to use the description of the YouTube live, and we will go from there. Alrighty, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll pick up where we've left off, and we'll be identifying more short and long setups on a number of 100 tickets tomorrow. Alrighty, see you there. Thanks, Poncho, for coming. I didn't realize you had sat in here the whole time. Appreciate it. Poncho. Thank you to anyone else that was here as well. I think maybe Poncho, you were the last left. Okay.